Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this first in what I hope would be a series of episodes from the Flying Gazelle. I am Yomi Arokio, founder of the Flying Gazelle, a client-centric travel advisory and booking service that focuses on tailor-made experiences for our clients. I'm so excited to be launching this series and chatting with somebody whom I've known for some time. We worked together in a past life, but we've since transitioned into other fields and serendipitously in the same sort of field. And once I caught wind of this, I thought, wow, I've got to chat with her. I want to make this about folks who are doing interesting things in the travel space, luminaries, people who are doing different things and more interesting things. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to Mo from Bespoke Experiences by Mo. And I'm going to turn it over to her for her to introduce herself. So Mo, please take it away.
Thank you, Yomi. Thank you so much for having me. I truly feel honored as your first guest as well. And yes, you're right. The universe definitely aligned. Who would have thought moving on from the world of ad tech that we both would have ended up in our travel experiences services industry right now. So yes, feel truly honored. Thank you for having me. Just as an introduction to everyone, I'm Maureen. I'm the founder of Bespoke Experiences by M. I'm a Ghanaian-born travel enthusiast who just wanted to make it easier to discover new destinations, culture, and unique experiences within Ghana. So I'm passionate about creating memories and just believe that everyone deserves to have amazing adventures. I mean, I've definitely had the best of both worlds. As mentioned, I'm Ghanaian-born, raised in London, and I've spent the last 9 years of my life also living and working in New York. But growing up, being Ghanaian, my mother always made sure I had the experience of coming to Ghana every other year without fail. Probably left when I was a toddler, but I can definitely remember all my childhood memories. I've definitely over the years obviously founded some great friendships. I still have family here in Ghana. And obviously as I got older, even as an adult, I've gone on to just share my experiences and my culture with friends. So I believe that's where all of this started for me, to be honest. I think I've just been so caught up with the enjoyment of hosting and entertaining, friends over the years who have loved the idea of coming to Ghana. And I've just had a few whispers in my ear over the past few years saying, Maureen, you should just do this for a business. You're great at it. You're always hosting. You're always entertaining. And obviously, that the universe aligned where I had the opportunity to relocate back to Ghana. And I wanted to obviously just give back to the community as well. I mean, I love my culture. I love my country. There's so much to see and explore. And here we are today. So yes, that's
We
yeah,
are today,
yes.
indeed. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, did I interrupt you? Sorry, you were gonna, did you finish your thought? Are you okay?
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I was just going to say that the company was actually just founded, yeah, this year, April 2024. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, great tee up because actually the next thing I was going to ask you is for our viewers, if you wouldn't mind leaning into just your business, what it is you do, how people can find you. And again, for our viewers, I'm going to link all the details and the transcripts once this gets posted. But I think just really, if you don't mind leaning into what the business is about, I think it's a great tee up in terms of talking about your history, your culture, basically really just that immersion into the Ghanaian culture and being able to showcase it the way you do. So I'd love for you to lean into that a little bit more, talk about your offerings as well as just how folks can find you and how folks can take advantage of your services.
Yeah, sure. So for me, the word bespoke originally comes from tailoring, right? Meaning something made to order. So in the context of experiences, it implies that no two experiences are the same. Each is uniquely crafted for the client. So that's the concept behind the business. I want to make sure that every experience is truly tailored towards you. By M is just indicating the true personalization of my services. Me, Maureen, Mo, More, as people like to call me. It's the personalization where I wish to just curate that memorable once in a lifetime experience for you that just goes beyond standard travel packages. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I like to travel, I definitely like to curate itineraries myself. I've never been into the huge group pre-made packages that sometimes you're coerced in signing up for when you travel. But for me, I really just want to offer that unique experience. Like this is literally exclusively your experience. So something I've done to kickstart that process is I've got a travel persona quiz in place. And that's an initial step for me to just tap into your interests, your preferences, a little bit about you. Everybody has a travel persona, whether your interests are tailored more towards being a culture enthusiast, an adventurer, rest and relaxation. You could be more of a family vacationer, eco-tourist, and that is the foundation of where I kickstart my consultation process. So I have a fun little quiz, takes no more than 2 minutes, where I can just capture the essence of who you are, what you're looking for. And even more importantly, I stay very focused on your budget. What is feasible for you? So there's no fixed prices up front. Again, off the initial consultation call that I'll have with you, beyond just understanding who you are as a person, your preferences, your interests, I definitely want to capture the essence of what's within budget for you. So I will be very realistic in terms of the types of activities and the exploration that can be tailored into that. Because a lot of my services, it really does vary from accommodation to events, to the excursions, to experiences, whatever that means for you, right? It could be workshops or specific activities. But essentially, I'm curating a one-off experience for you within the budget that's feasible for you.
Yeah, I love that. And I really love the idea of a quiz, right? A very short, brief quiz for folks to understand. I mean, one of the things that we do at the Flying Gazelle as well is really have a questionnaire to really understand what the client's about. I love the word bespoke. It's something that I feel like should probably get more use. Although, I mean, if it's mass, then it's really not bespoke, right? Clearly. So I really
Yeah.
love that, and tailoring the experience to the particular customer. I think sometimes what's lost, especially in our field in travel, is that it's a mass market, and oftentimes you really just get probably just assigned to packages or tours, etc., without really understanding what the particular client's about. So I certainly do appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. And I even don't even, I think when I kick-started my thought process, I didn't have the solo traveler in mind, actually. I was thinking more of the larger groups and the family trips and couples, but it's actually been quite interesting to just work with all the variety, everything from your solo traveler to the couples to the families who are just trying to have that all-round experience where everyone can enjoy. So, I even recently had a wedding party. So as long as I've got that key point person that I'll work with to really capture, the essence of what everyone's looking to achieve and explore on the trip, then we can take it from there. It's a very seamless process.
I love that. I love that. And you, for solo travelers, for somebody who's traveled solo quite a bit, I certainly appreciate that. And it's good to understand that it's not just for a specific group of people or category of people, that you really do have a good breadth around those who are looking to experience something different and something new. And again, this is the reason why we're doing this, and I'm talking to you. So thank you for sharing. This next question is actually really interesting for those of us who are part of the diaspora, for those of us who are of backgrounds in Africa or who are interested in Africa. And I feel like the continent hasn't had as much exposure or as much, I guess, fanfare. I think oftentimes when people talk about Africa, when it comes to travel, it's usually a safari, or perhaps they're going to South Africa. All fantastic, but I love this focus on, and it's something I'm committed to doing as well, leaning more into just exploring the continent of really looking at other regions. So from your perspective, why Africa and why now? What do you think about that?
Sure, great question. I mean, for me, Africa is rapidly emerging as a global economic hub with immense potential. The continent is rich in natural resources, has a young and growing population, and is experiencing technological advancements as well. I just feel as though now is an opportune moment to engage with Ghana specifically because the country is on the rise in terms of economic development. infrastructure improvements, and global influences. And I say that to say we've, in recent years, moved forward with initiatives like Year of the Return, Beyond Return, that have brought significant attention to Ghana as a destination for heritage tourism, particularly among the African diaspora. So additionally, Ghana offers a unique mix of tradition and modernity, making it a must-visit destination for travelers seeking, cultural immersion as well as new experiences. I love that social media has actually begun to put Ghana and Africa in the spotlight, right? Gone are the days where everyone thinks when you come to Africa, you're living in mud huts or in the forests or what have you. I mean, obviously, I always knew that wasn't the case.
Sure.
And in fact, as recent as 2019, because I had a whole bunch of friends visit Ghana for the first time. And then for the first time, they understood why I've been coming ongoing since I was a child. They were like, we get it now. You always come into Ghana in December, especially to party, and now we get it, we get it. I was like, yeah, like Africa has a lot to offer. People are living well, don't get me wrong, poverty very much still exists, but there's so much to see and explore. Like I said, I just feel as though now, if you are a traveler just seeking some sort of cultural immersion and new experiences, again, whatever that means to you, it can be adapted to this environment. We have everything here.
Yeah.
Technology is just so advanced. I mean, I've been so impressed as well, even when I think of the influencers in this country and all the work they're doing to really expose Ghana and put it in a positive limelight. And I'm doing my best to support those initiatives as well.
That's awesome. I really love that a lot. And like I said, I just super excited to see what you're doing and what some other content creators and curators, etc., are doing on the continent. It's embarrassing in my case, being of a Nigerian background, having not really I can explore the continent as much as I've done the rest of the world. So I'm looking forward to doing that and looking forward to taking you up on Bespoke Experiences by M at some point in the future. So looking forward to that. Now, so I think you've talked about this a little bit, but if you would mind sharing how folks can find you, how folks can book your packages. Again, we'll link a lot of this stuff in the transcripts, but if you want to give a couple minutes talking about that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, sure. So there's an official website, Bespoke Experiences, gh.com. So there you can email us via the contact form. You have the opportunity to book a free online consultation. You can also use our online chat functions to request personalized services. We have a very responsive service team, so we'll definitely aim to respond within 24 hours. And of course, we have our socials. Instagram has been the main, social channel that we've continued to use. Feel free to DM us on there. But definitely I'll say our website has a number of avenues for you to get in touch, and we have a very responsive service team as well. And we're happy to talk to you. Like I said, free online consultation. Even if I'm calling it a discovery call, 30-minute discovery call, because it really is important for you to just, again, even further understand how we can service you. And even if you're planning, 6 months to a year ahead, that's absolutely fine. There's no time like the present. So I actually find that I've done my best work when I've had that kind of 2 to 3 month lead time, where I can really take the time to curate something. At minimum, I would say a month advance. But yes, we're here to service you, whether it is just, certain aspects of your trip you need help with, whether it be the accommodation or the trips themselves, or you might just have an occasion that you're looking to celebrate. But yes, please do get in touch.
Awesome. And thinking about that, is there a particular time, we're talking about timing and travel, etc. Is there a particular time you would recommend guests visit Ghana, or really it could be any time of the year?
So Ghana, I think it largely depends on your weather preferences and the types of activities that you're interested in. So typically Ghana is hot all year round, but we do have our seasons. So yes, there's no winter here. You don't have to worry about coming with your coat and your jacket and your boots. But we do have some seasons. So I'll give you a little walkthrough. So our dry season is typically from November to March. So the dry season offers warm but manageable temperatures with less humidity. and minimal rainfall. So it does make for the most popular time for visitors. In terms of activities, this period is ideal for outdoor activities like visiting national parks, hiking, beach days, cultural festivals, as well as exploring historical sites. And not to forget the parties. December to January is wild out here. I'm going to say it, Accra is the new Ibiza of Africa. And March, April is also a hit with parties. Easter is also a big celebration here. So you've got your dry season with a number of festivities as well as great nightlife that you may or may not be into. But dry season is definitely a popular season between November to March. We also have from December to February what we call Hamatan season. So the Hamatan winds blow from the Sahara Desert. So what that does is it brings drier and cooler conditions, especially in the mornings and the evenings. So the air can be quite dusty, can give you a little bit of a sore throat sometimes, but skies are generally clear. So during this time, actually, because it's so dry, with Accra specifically being on the coast, a good time for traveling to our other cities like Kumasi or Tamale in the north, because they're more inland and the temperatures are cooler. So it's also great for cultural tours, exploring Ghana's historical sites and the famous, Cape Coast and Elmina castles, because it is a cooler, drier season. Now, from April to October is what we call our green season or rainy season, if you like. The heaviest rainfall does occur in April, May, and June. And it starts to taper off between September and October. So it does make these months an acceptable time to visit if you don't mind occasional showers. What I would say for nature enthusiasts, the landscape during this time of April to October is just lush and green. So again, perfect for nature lovers, and especially if you want to visit our waterfalls or explore the rainforest. We have a number of beautiful waterfalls here. So definitely if you're looking to explore more of our nature within its, the greatest habitat that it is, definitely April to October during our rainy season.
That was excellent. Thanks for walking us through the seasons. It sounds like there really isn't a bad time. It just depends on what you're interested in exploring and learning more about. So that was a great education in when to, how to, etc. So thanks for that. All right, we're about to wrap this up. Thank you for your time. But before we go, I'd love to ask you a couple of personal questions just for us to get to know you a little bit better. Are you
Okay.
for that?
I'm game. I'm game. Let's go.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. What's your favorite thing to do on holiday?
My favorite thing to do. I'm very much of a mixed bag. I think, first of all, I'm going to say this. I am very specific about going to very warm locations. I do not like the cold. If I have ended up in a cold spot or cold destination, should I say, it's not by choice. It definitely was the weather not working in my favor. I will never pick a cold destination or go for a warmer one.
So you're not
So with
planning
that,
an Antarctic trip anytime soon, are you?
no, it looks beautiful. I love the pictures and the videos. Thank you very much. You will not find me in the Arctic. You will not find me in Iceland. It all looks beautiful, but the cold makes me, I just can't. I just can't do it. It doesn't make me happy, Yomi. It just doesn't make me happy. It looks beautiful. I'll leave it to you to explore and share your experience. So for me, I say a mixed bag in the sense that I definitely have, beach and rest or wellness in mind. I definitely am very much a culture enthusiast anywhere I go in the world. I definitely want to understand the culture. I want to explore. I'll never just sit in the resorts. I definitely want to get out there, meet the people, interact. I love new culinary experiences. I'm always up for trying new food. And I love a bit of the nightlife and the enjoyment that comes along with it. So yeah, you won't catch me just being a beach bum. I definitely like to do a bit of everything. I want to get adventurous, I want to relax, and I also want to explore the country to see what it has to offer.
That's awesome. Sounds like my kind of a vacation. All right. So, last question. What's next on your radar in terms of travel? Like, are there places that you're thinking about in terms of locations, destinations? What's hot on your radar right now?
It has to be Africa, of course.
Mhm.
And very similarly, you touched something earlier, and I could totally resonate. I have traveled so much around the world, and I've done a really bad job of exploring my own continent. Within the continent of Africa, there's 52 countries. I have explored about four.
Yeah,
So I actually look back at my notes today and I can see I made a hit list for traveling around Africa in May 2023. Yet to happen, but I have my hit list. I would say my top three that I have in mind are Tanzania, Mozambique, and Seychelles,
nice.
all of which have something totally different to offer. I'm just curious. Being from the west of Africa, I'm very familiar, but everywhere is so different, uh, from the north to the south to the east, the west, we're all very unique in our cultures and our traditions, the foods we eat, the dances. There's just so much. Our culture as a whole on the continent is so rich. So for me, definitely, if you hear me traveling over the next few years, I'm going to get through this hit list of countries within Africa because I've done a bad job of exploring my own continent and I've traveled so much around the world. I can't even count how many countries I've been to. So I feel embarrassed in that respect. Starting with Ghana as a focus point is only right. It's home to me. But there's so much more to explore within Africa.
Yeah.
And I want to be a part of that journey as well.
I love it. I love it. And yes, to all those places that you mentioned, Tanzania has been such high on my list. I'd like to check that out. And something that's been creeping up at the top of my list a lot lately as well, in addition to everywhere else, is Ethiopia. Like Ethiopia has also just kind of sort of
Mhm,
been bubbling up a little bit. So lots of
mhm.
places, lots of
Lots
places.
of places. Maybe we can tag team.
Yeah.
Once you make it to this side of town, yeah, maybe we could just do a duo hop around.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, Mo, what a pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time, for
you.
sharing with our audience all of the great things about Bespoke Experiences by M. Such a pleasure. I look forward to chatting with you again soon. And do you have any last words for our audience or
Come to Ghana. We're here, ready and waiting for you. You're gonna have the time of your life, I promise you. Yes, just book that trip. You've got nothing to worry about. Even as a solo traveler, I've had a few. We can make it happen. Come to Ghana.
you heard it here first? Book that trip, make it happen. All right. Thanks, everybody. It was great to have you. And again, we'll link all the details in the transcripts and have a wonderful afternoon. Take
Thank
care.
you so much. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Right.